Imagine this. You finally gather the courage to share something deeply personal with your partner, maybe a desire, a boundary, or a fear. And the moment those words leave your mouth, you notice their expression shift. A sigh, a frown, maybe silence. Suddenly, what was supposed to bring you closer feels like a wedge pushing you apart. Why does this happen so often? And more importantly, how can you talk about your needs without hurting your partner or triggering defensiveness? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. By the end of this video, you'll know practical strategies to express yourself with honesty while keeping intimacy, trust, and emotional safety intact. Let's dive in. First, here's the hard truth most of us don't want to admit. Your partner is not a mind reader. As much as we'd love them to just know what we want, what hurts us, or what excites us, it doesn't work like that. Clear communication is the bridge. But here's the challenge. Expressing needs often feels like criticism, especially if your partner hears it as, "You're not good enough." That's why so many couples tiptoe around each other, hoping problems will magically disappear. Spoiler alert, they don't. So, how do we break the cycle? The key lies in how we talk, not just what we say. Think of it like music. The same words, spoken in a different tone or rhythm, can create either harmony or chaos. Let's start with one of the most powerful tools in healthy communication, the I statement. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard when I share something important, and it matters to me that you're present." Notice the difference? One feels like an attack, the other feels like an invitation. One pushes away, the other opens the door to connection. But here's where it gets interesting. Even I statements can backfire if they're just dressed up accusations. For example, "I feel like you don't care about me when you do that." That's still basically saying, "You're failing." The real art lies in connecting your feelings to your needs, not to your partner's flaws. Instead of pointing the finger, you shine a light on what would help you feel safe and loved. Psychologists call this nonviolent communication, and it's not about being soft or fake, it's about being effective. Think of it as replacing judgment with curiosity and blame with clarity. Here's the formula: observation plus feeling plus need plus request. For example, observation. When we spend time on our phones during dinner. Feeling: I feel disconnected and a little lonely. Need: I need to feel closeness during the small moments of our day. Request: could we agree to keep dinner phone free? It's simple but powerful, and yet many of us resist it. Why? Because it feels vulnerable. Saying, "I feel lonely," exposes us. It's much easier to say, "You're always on your phone." But vulnerability is where intimacy lives. When you open up about your inner world, you invite your partner to step closer instead of pushing them away. Now, let's address another crucial point: timing. Bringing up sensitive needs in the middle of an argument, or when your partner is stressed, is like trying to plant seeds in a storm. The soil isn't ready. One of the most overlooked skills in communication is knowing when to speak. If you choose a calm, connected moment, say during a walk or while relaxing together, the chances of your message landing with love rather than defensiveness skyrockets. But maybe you're thinking, "Okay, but what if my partner still gets defensive, no matter how carefully I phrase it?" Great question. The truth is, defensiveness is often less about your words and more about your partner's internal state. When people hear a need expressed, they sometimes interpret it as pressure or as evidence that they're failing. That's why framing matters so much. You're not saying, you're not enough. You're saying, this is something that would bring me joy, and I want to share it with you. Think of it like this. Needs are not criticisms, they're roadmaps. They're not about pointing out what's wrong. They're about showing your partner what makes the relationship thrive. Here's another powerful reframe. Instead of approaching communication as, how do I make my partner change? Ask yourself, how do I let my partner see more of me? That shift alone turns the conversation from confrontation into intimacy. But what about shame? Many people struggle to voice their needs, especially around intimacy, because they feel embarrassed or they worry they'll be judged. Here's the truth. Shame thrives in silence. The moment you bring it into the light, it loses its grip. The courage to say, this is something I desire, or this is something that matters to me, is the exact courage that deepens trust. Your partner can't hold you in your wholeness if you never show them who you are. Of course, this doesn't mean blurting out every thought without care. There's a balance between honesty and sensitivity. And here's a tip. Before speaking, ask yourself 2 questions. 1. What is the truth I need to share? 2. How can I say this in a way that honors both myself and my partner? That pause, that intentionality, makes all the difference. Let's go deeper into the practical side. Imagine you want more physical affection. Instead of saying, you're so cold lately, which sounds like a judgment, you might try, I feel warm and loved when we cuddle more. Could we try making that part of our evenings? This not only expresses your need, but also paints a picture of the joy it brings you. Suddenly, your partner isn't being told what they're doing wrong. They're being invited into a moment of love. Here's another scenario. You feel overwhelmed by household chores. The defensive approach is, you never help me with anything. The connective approach is, I feel stressed when the house is messy, and I really need support to feel balanced. Could we divide tasks so it feels lighter for both of us? Notice how the focus is on your feelings and needs, not on blaming. Now, I know what you might be wondering, but isn't it exhausting to always phrase things perfectly? Here's the good news. It's not about perfection. It's about practice. The more you focus on needs instead of blame, the more natural it becomes. Think of it like strengthening a muscle. At first, it feels awkward. Over time, it becomes your default language. And here's where it gets even more exciting. When you start expressing your needs with clarity and care, something magical happens. You create space for your partner to do the same. Suddenly, conversations shift from hidden resentment to open collaboration. Instead of walking on eggshells, you're both dancing in honesty. That's the foundation of true intimacy. But there's another layer. Listening. Communication isn't just about speaking well, it's about receiving with compassion. When your partner shares their needs, resist the urge to jump in with solutions or defenses. Instead, reflect back what you hear. Say, so you're feeling stressed, and you need more support. Did I get that right? That moment of validation is more powerful than any quick fix. People don't want to be fixed. They want to be understood. And here's a secret. Often when people feel deeply understood, the problem feels half solved already. Because now, they're not alone in it. They have a partner by their side, not an opponent across the battlefield. So let's tie this together. If you want to talk about your needs without hurting your partner, focus on these principles. Use I statements rooted in feelings and needs, not blame. Choose the right timing. Don't plant seeds in a storm. Frame needs as invitations to closeness, not criticisms. Embrace vulnerability instead of hiding behind judgment. Balance honesty with sensitivity. Pause and ask, how can I honor both of us? Listen with the intention to understand, not to defend. Here's the final curiosity I want to leave you with. Communication is not just about getting your needs met. It's about building a relationship where both people feel safe to bring their whole selves. Imagine what your relationship could look like if every need, every desire, every boundary was shared openly, without fear of rejection. That's not just communication, that's intimacy at its deepest level. So the next time you feel the urge to stay silent, or the fear of hurting your partner by speaking up, remember this. Silence creates distance, but honesty creates connection, if spoken with love. The more you practice this art, the more you'll realize that needs are not threats to intimacy. They're the very path to it. And maybe, just maybe, the real question isn't, how do I speak so I don't hurt my partner? But rather, how do I speak so we both feel more alive, more loved, and more seen? Because at the end of the day, that's what relationships are really about.